Hello again, everybody. This is Dan Clouser, and welcome back to the Journey of My Mother's Son podcast. Sandy and I are going to talk about our final leg of our journey back to Pennsylvania. We last talked to you, we were wrapping up in Cheyenne, Wyoming at one of my book signings. From there, we cut across Nebraska, Missouri, and into Illinois to see our friends Jason and Sarah Brailsford. But before that, as we were going across I-80 in Nebraska, we stopped in Kearney, Nebraska again.
Because it said rest area, I believe, and then we're just like, okay, well, let's check it out.
Yeah, another one of those unplanned stops. And we saw it last year when we were going through Nebraska, the Archway, as we were going down to Minden, but we didn't stop there. And it's cool. It's just this big archway in Kearney, Nebraska that goes across I-80.
All four lanes.
Yeah, but didn't really know a whole lot about it, so we pulled in, went in, we're talking to the guy, and there's a museum that actually is in that entire archway across the interstate.
The archway.
Just talking about the Oregon Trail and
it starts
all that
out
sort
with
of stuff.
that, and it goes through the history.
Yeah, basically
which is neat.
To today almost.
It's a two-story, which is surprising to me too. The two-story archway
Inside the arch, yeah.
And you can, I mean, the tickets they have, a gift shop, they have all kinds of history in there.
Yeah, and I think it was
$12. It was under $20.
Yeah, $12 for Sandy and $15 for me. The little gift shop there, but really we kind of debated back and forth whether or not we were going to do the actual museum or not doing it.
Because after a while you see one museum and you're like, okay.
But finally we're like, you know what, let's just do it. And it was really cool. I'm glad we did it.
Very interesting because of the two stories. They have an elevator in there if you're handicapped or you can't use the escalator. So, but it was great. It was beautiful. It was. I mean, you had this little handheld kind of.
Right, so each section had a number on it, and you would basically hear the story of what you were looking at, which was pretty neat. So yeah, really happy that we ended up doing that. And then again from there we drove into Missouri, actually almost to Illinois that night. We were basically right on the Missouri-Illinois state line, and ended up just staying the night in a Walmart, and then connected with our friends who we met down in Galveston this past year. Jason and Sarah Brailsford, who own a farm in Illinois, and just had a great time with them.
We did. They asked what we wanted to do, and we're like, well, knowing he's a farmer, we wanted to learn about what he does. So that's what he showed us.
Yeah, it was really cool, and to have somebody, to have a farmer in September, basically block out two days of his schedule to spend time with us.
That's great.
Sarah took a day off from work, again, just to spend time with us, drive around their little town, take us to lunch. It was just such an awesome visit. And that's the best thing about what we do with traveling is the people we meet who we end up staying connected with. I mean, we met them back in February in Galveston, playing left, right, center at the KOA down there.
Which is a dice game.
That was like our first week in Galveston, and our niece came down to visit us in Galveston. We introduced her to him, and she thought that we'd known him for years. And it's just people that we happen to connect with, that you just feel that instant connection right away, and that's Jason and Sarah for sure. I mean, just
it was just, I don't know,
quality human beings.
It was his harvest time for soybean and corn, so that was just interesting. We learned a lot about it.
About wind fields and wind farms.
Yes.
There's some windmills or wind turbines, I guess is the official name for them, that are on his property where he farms, and learned about that. I mean, it was educational and just a lot of fun.
He left us right in the combine, so it was really great.
It was cool. So from there we were headed to my final book signing, which was in Centerville, Ohio, and also spending time with other friends that we met in Galveston, Jeff and Jackie Powell, which, again, just people that you meet that you absolutely connect with immediately. So I had a book signing at the Kroger there in Centerville, and we spent 4 or 5 nights with with Jeff and Jackie.
Right.
I think 4 nights. And again, just had a great time. Hanging out, catching up, got to know each other even better.
Telling us some good spots to go to for donuts in town. Bill's
Yeah.
Donuts and Greater Ice Cream, I guess it was called. I believe it was called. But we didn't get to go to Esther Pierce's chocolates, so but that's okay. There's always a next time.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun again, and again, just those people that you meet along the way and you connect with, and they immediately feel like family to you. It was pretty awesome. And then we were making our way back into Pennsylvania. We'd originally told our family that we would be back on October 7th, but we were really actually getting back on September 26th.
So we had to
Our
push.
original plan was to show up in Newport, Pennsylvania on the 26th and surprise our granddaughter Lillian at her field hockey game, but it ended up getting rained out, and
We did make it to that area, but we just
were in Newport when we
the
found
game
out
was
the game
canceled.
was canceled. So then we shifted plans and decided to drive into Berks County because we were going to be going into Berks County anyway for a chiropractor appointment to hopefully get Sandy all squared away with her issues that she's been having and getting her back out on the trail. So we kind of shifted gears and ended up over the next 2 days surprising her mom and my dad and my brother and Kelly and Jimmy and Sherry. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's funny, when I was a kid, I used to hate, I thought it was always corny when my mom wanted to surprise people. But we seem to get quite a charge out of it nowadays.
we do, but I think they're starting to catch on. They don't believe us when we say a certain date.
Yeah, Kelly had called us actually the day before, asking us what our real arrival time was in Pennsylvania.
They're not falling for it anymore.
But we still surprised them.
Yeah.
They all
And
said they knew
we
we'd be
just-
back sooner than we told them, but they
Yeah.
didn't know when. So
And
there's
plus,
definitely
we
that element
ended
of
up being
surprise.
split it in 2 days. It was a lot to do.
Yeah, it was exhausting
mean,
going around and
It
surprising the
was because
entire
we
family.
Harrisburg to Berks County,
Back out to Harrisburg.
back out
and
to
then,
Harrisburg, and finally our daughter, she was catching on too in Harrisburg.
Right.
Stephanie,
but she still didn't know when.
no,
So, yes, it was a lot of fun. And our first weekend back in Pennsylvania, we're actually up in Duncannon at Steph and Eric's house, and we just had a whirlwind between
our grandson.
Friday,
Yes,
surprising Garrett and Lillian at the football game, which was actually up in Juniata, and then coming down to Steph and Eric's house and surprising them,
that same night.
that
yeah.
same night in the evening, and just
It was
not getting fully set up in the yard, just
because
kind of
at the time it was dark and
was dark and it was
this
raining.
hurricane is still hovering
yeah. But
with rain.
Saturday, man, we just had a whirlwind where we got up early Saturday morning,
Had to go
drove to Lebanon to see Garrett's mountain bike race.
That's right. Yes, his bike race. That
which
was
was
interesting. That was our first one to go
First
to.
time we were at one for him, which
So
was
it was
cool.
great.
Got back to their house, just enough time to eat a sandwich
I know.
and get back
Maybe
on the
a half
move
an hour rest
down to Susquehanna High School
to see the field
to
hockey.
see Lillian's field hockey game, and then back home. Again, just enough time to kind of get changed and get sorted a little bit, and then back on the road
To
again
Mechanicsburg.
down to Mechanicsburg
For-
to see Garrett's band competition. So
Yeah, that was neat. too.
Saturday in the life of the Lingles is pretty
crazy.
busy for sure, but it was a lot of fun
Yeah.
to get to see Garrett's band routine and his mountain bike, and get to see Lillian's team.
The hockey, which is doing very, very well this
It's a lot of
year
fun.
again.
So we'll be here in Pennsylvania between Steph and Eric's house and back in Berks County till the beginning of November, when we'll finally start to make our trek south. I'm speaking in Orlando at the Thing, and
it is
have
called
another,
The Thing, because at first I'm like, what's the real name?
and then have another Mammoth March that I'm doing with my cousins, Patty and Carol, just outside of Tampa, and then we'll kind of settle into Florida for
A little
the
bit.
bulk of the the winter. Not sure exactly what our schedule is. Kind of putting together book signings and that sort of stuff right now.
Right.
So, as always, be sure to check out our other blogs and podcasts at journeyofmotherson.com, and be safe, and we'll be checking in.
Take care. Bye.